from Flint, Michigan, man. So, this city right here is one of the hard-working cities. We grind. A lot of poverty around here. There's not a lot of bright that goes on in the city of Flint. But growing up, I definitely endured the poverty. My pops always kept my head straight, let them know, we reaching a higher goal. But, at times it was tough.
Growing up in one of America's most tested cities, Gerald found himself in the face of adversity from a young age. But nothing could prepare him for the challenge he faced when he was just 5 years old.
Growing up, I always told myself, my mom couldn't die, because I stayed with my mama for the most part growing up to the age of 5. That's when she passed away. It still didn't become reality to me, until I sit down and talk to my dad, man, and he kind of broke it down, like, man, your mom's is gone.
Watching my son deal with that, having to step into that position, it was very hard and difficult for myself and him. We was going to church one day, and I was looking at my son in the passenger seat. He had his head down in his hand. I was like, "What's wrong, son?" Like, "My mother's gone." 5 years old. And I just broke down in tears, my son responding like that. So it was very hard dealing with that, helping him, get through that loss. He kind of, as a young man, he kind of suppressed it most of his years, but in his early teens, my son, he started dealing with it more, so it was like reliving it all over again, helping my son get through that.
I hit this point where, stuff didn't seem real, but it hit me hard. I believe at first I probably didn't know how to deal with it, even though she passed away and things like this happened, but, that's how things go.
Losing his mother at a young age, Gerald was left feeling lost and alone. But strong guidance from his father helped Gerald stay focused and work through the difficult times.
One of the biggest things I knew for my son to be successful with the adversity that he was going through was being focused. And so I didn't want him to get caught up in what was going on around him, the lack that we had. I wanted to shield him from that, so he can just stay focused on being a good kid, being a good student, being a good athlete.
As Gerald worked to overcome the challenges that he faced during his childhood, he discovered something that became an integral part in the foundation of his future.
In youth league, football took off for me. I remember I had a long 80-yard touchdown, and then I broke off. And after that, my dad kind of knew, football is a sport. So it kind of slowly started growing. And then I hit high school when things changed dramatically, during the summer camp when I was given the ball to do some running back reps. And then that's when things kind of hit the switch. And from then, football been on me.
When you out here and you living in, these streets out here, you gotta be safe. And so for us to be out here on this field, it's just, he out here playing to make it out.
As Gerald found his footing on the football field, he also realized the opportunities the game could provide him.
Around sophomore year, when I got my first letter from Iowa, that's when I kind of knew, I think the next level might be something for me. Living that at that moment, was kind of like a dream. It was still new for me. I didn't know how to react to it. I just kept work hard.
A 3-year starter at Flint Carmen Ainsworth, Gerald quickly evolved into one of the best running backs in the state and garnered attention from schools all across the nation. But he didn't have to travel far to find the perfect fit.
Well, I think when it hit me hard is when I got injured, my junior year. And that's kind of when things kind of set back. And I didn't even get my offer yet from Michigan State. So I thought, they was going to shy back from me and leave me hanging. And that's when they stuck with me. That's how I knew, Michigan State was that place for me.
With a scholarship in hand, it represented much more than an opportunity to continue playing football for Gerald. It represented his ability to not only overcome the tough obstacles that he had faced his whole life, but to turn them into a positive and make it out of Flint.
Well, just Flint, for the most part, just a tough city. All the athletes that come from there, they probably had the same story. Just growing up in Flint, different things like poverty. You got to be tough. You got to have a grind type of mindset to get through, what was going on during that time and even to this day. That stick-to-it mindset, that dog mentality to achieve your goals no matter what. So the adversity actually played a positive part in my son's life. And to see him actually do it, man, it just brings so much joy to my heart to see my son fulfill his dreams.
Even though Gerald left his hometown, he brought his hard-working, hard-nosed mentality to East Lansing. where he found his new home as a tailback for the green and white.
Tailback probably the perfect position for me as far as coming out of Flint, because I feel like I put my city on my shoulders, and just run through, and that's kind of how the game of football is. You put your team on the back, you run through that line to win games.
That's in our DNA, to grind, to work hard, to always push forward, no matter the adversity. So it reflects on this football play, getting through and surviving, thriving. In Flint, man, football, that's second nature.
It's Holmes, met quickly but spins and reaches for a touchdown.
Gerald continued to thrive at Michigan State as he found his rhythm in the running game. But back home, adversity struck his city once again.
We turn now to a growing crisis in Flint, Michigan over the city's water supply, contaminated by toxic levels of lead, poisoning children in the community. Tomorrow, the governor and mayor will meet to discuss the new state of emergency imposed months after dangerously high levels of lead were found.
Oh, it was hurtful, it was painful. Knowing you got family back here who's exposed to tainted water, it was a hurtful thing to find out, concern about the safety of your family and of your friends. And so it hit me hard, hit my son hard, and so he wanted to contribute to that situation as much as he could.
Knowing the water was bad, I had to do something about it that I could, so I know basically just partaking in giving water, to the people of Flint, at that, in a time of need, I feel like that was my job, definitely being there. At the same time, this city made me. I'm from here. People been here longer than I have. So coming from a city like this, it's always good to give back. To the place you came from.
There's one more.
Seeing the people's faces, that kind of hit home a lot. Because I got family personally here. And then seeing other families, crying, giving me hugs. They was coming in, for the most part, asking for water, and we only can give them a certain number of waters. So. I'm asking them, how many waters y'all want? They were like, well, we ain't got no water at all. So, it don't matter what, we only can give them 2. I was giving them 3, 4, I'm like, hey, these people, that I'm around, they need water. So, one case ain't gonna survive one day almost, so, it hurt me a lot, but then at the same time, it felt good to kind of give back, in that way.
You the man. You the reason why I wear this jacket here, baby. You the man, baby. All right.
It made me feel good as a father that, the things I taught him as a youngster that he now is applying and living it out. Being caring, being thoughtful, being helpful, being a servant, to people, So to see him actually operating that and do that for Flint, it definitely made me feel proud as a father.
As Gerald continues his football career, he has his eyes set on the future, but his heart and soul will always be rooted in the city that raised him, a city that he longs to pay back.
My son has a bright future, and I believe the number one reason why is he's determined. He's focused and he has a vision for what he wants to do in life. I think that's very key for a young man to have a vision of where he wants to go and where he wants to be. And my son has the determination and the hard work, the work ethic to get there. So it's definitely exciting. I also have a lot of confidence that he will fulfill his dreams because of his work ethic. And I'm so proud to be his father.
I kind of want the city to stay strong. I feel like at times we kind of give up because, this is what we've been seeing all our life. It's been positive at one point, and then it stopped being positive, for the rest of the years, and hopefully it doesn't continue that path. I want it to be somewhere where people kind of grew up from or come to is it's a home feeling. We're not getting, abandoned, with bad water. Hopefully it's to the point where, we have a couple, small time nice campuses here for colleges and, nice apartments and everything, and it's kind of people raising their families here. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to Flint, and now it's more of a place to go, not a place to stay away from.
Battalion,
come
Attention. March well. 3 sets. My name is Austin Wolfe. I'm a fourth-year walk-on the Michigan State football team, and I also participate in the Army ROTC program here at Michigan State.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So I was born in Fort Riley, Kansas, and after that I moved, I believe, 9 times before I came to Michigan State. My dad was in the Army for 29 years, so I kind of grew up in the military lifestyle, and I kind of saw how he held himself throughout his career and the values that he was kind of instilled with. And it was definitely motivation for me throughout my childhood to kind of look into that lifestyle a little bit more.
Growing up on an Army base, it was easy for Austin to follow in his father's footsteps in pursuit of a career in the Army. But during that pursuit, he discovered another true passion: the game of football.
So I started playing football in about 7th grade, but it was more, I was actually in Germany at the time, so I was living on an Army establishment. I guess it was kind of a neighborhood activity that everyone kind of wanted to just start up, and I got talked into by mostly my parents. I guess they saw I had some athletic, capability, but I did start up in 7th grade, and after that I've always really enjoyed it.
Austin's passion for football followed him back to the United States, where he went on to earn all-district and all-region honors at Lake Braddock Secondary School in Springfield, Virginia. But with all his accolades, Austin didn't have any offers to play Division I football, only a scholarship to join the ROTC at Michigan State. But little did he know, his football career wasn't over just yet.
Before I came here, I was told, you can't do ROTC in football, it's just too much. And you got school, it just would be too much. But for me, I've always kind of been a challenge seeker. I've always wanted to go one step further, see how far I can push myself. And when I got to Michigan State, I kind of, I was here for just Army ROTC, but I knew that I still wanted to continue playing football. It was still a passion of mine, so I kind of reached out to the coaching staff here, and luckily I got a chance to try out. And it was definitely a little long process. Definitely a few nights where you're kind of staying up wondering, what's going to happen. But luckily in the end, I got a call from Coach Flint saying to come in and get fitted for my equipment. So that was definitely when I knew. And I was definitely one of the, greatest moments here at Michigan State for me.
Now that Austin earned a spot on the Spartan team, he faced another tall task: balancing the busy schedules of the football and ROTC programs at Michigan State.
I met Cadet Wolfe about 2 years ago. He was a sophomore at the time, and just a great individual. I mean, you want to talk about someone who's highly motivated, not just about what we do here in ROTC, but obviously about being on the football team. But to be honest with you, he never really gave the impression that he was more interested in that or less interested in this. It's like he's streamlined, he's baseline across the board. I mean, he puts just as much effort here as I imagine he does in other parts of his life.
So being in both programs, first physically, they're both, if I'm not in shape now, I don't know if I'll ever be, because as far as ROTC, you're getting more of a calisthenic, body weight, long distance running type workouts. Then with football, it's more short sprinting and weightlifting. So as far as physically, I think I'm getting the most of it. And then as far as just the leadership, values, all those things that come with the being in both programs. I think from ROTC, the values, the Army values, all that discipline, all the stuff you learn here is definitely something that transitions right into football, and vice versa. Just from being in the football program, that it's all about the teamwork, and that's what's going to get the job done.
And in order for the Spartans to get the job done on Saturdays, every member of the team, from the top of the depth chart to the bottom, has to do their job during the week. For Austin, his unglamorous job is suiting up for the scout team.
In season, week to week, scout team players are pretty much meant to imitate the opponent that week. So we're given numbers of the other team. For instance, for myself, it's I'm imitating one of the opponent receivers at the time for our starting defense. So we're interacting daily with our starting defense, just trying to continue to get them better, prepare them mentally and physically for what they're going to see on that given Saturday. And we're also kind of watching film on the other team, specifically a scout team, and we try to imitate the opponent's offense and give our defense the best look possible.
While most players may measure their success by minutes on the field, Austin and the scout team measure their success on how well they can prepare their teammates for action.
So the rewarding part for me is definitely on Saturdays getting a chance to run out on that field, coming out the tunnel is definitely a surreal feeling that I don't think you can find anywhere else. And then just seeing the hard work that you put in, with the team and especially on the scout team, especially if the defense plays well, that means that you've done your job, you've prepared them for their task that week. Definitely being a part of that, like I say, it comes back to just being an entire blessing for me to be here at this time in Michigan State's football history.
As Austin's once-in-a-lifetime experience reaches its final months at Michigan State, he can't help but be thankful for the opportunities he's been granted with the Spartans.
So as far as my career kind of wrapping up here in Michigan State, it's definitely been a blessing. Everything's been a blessing here as far as the opportunities I've been given to participate in all these programs and be around the people that I have been. The way I look at it is these are lifelong relationships I'm making with so many different people, and not many people can say they've done what I've done as far as their time in college. And so I definitely think that's definitely made me a better person and kind of prepared me for the future, because I know there's going to be tough times and things I'm going to have to overcome, but the things I've gone through here and the people I've met and interacted with have definitely prepared me better for the future. So I think that any task that arises, I will be able to accomplish it.
Once he's done here, he's going to progress into the active duty Army, and what he's offering is a set of leadership capabilities that nobody really gave him here. He showed up with that, and he's only just made it stronger. Once he enters the active duty Army, I mean, he's just going to get better and better, and what he's going to do more is provide that leadership for his subordinates, for his soldiers. And he's just a great person to be around, and he just kind of makes everyone in the room better, while he's doing what he does.
I'll graduate in May of 2017, and then I will commission as a second lieutenant into the United States Army. I just found out recently I'll be active duty, so that was definitely one of the goals of mine here, was to obtain that goal, which I did, and then I will find out soon in November which branch I will actually be in, and hopefully hoping to go aviation, kind of follow my dad's footsteps and become a pilot. And so that's the goal, and we'll see. And I definitely have kind of put in all the effort I can. And right now, it's kind of in God's hands, but we'll see what happens very soon.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Spartan football on the road in College Park, Maryland. Maryland won the toss. They're going to defer and put the breeze at their back. Let's see how this all plays out. Josiah Price from the wing on the right, Lyles tight left. Play fake to Scott. Lewerke rolls to his right, throws on the run. Caught by Jamal Lyles upfield. First and 10 at the 37. Quick throw left side to R.J. Shelton. Cuts outside, he's at midfield. Nice run by R.J. Lewerke's under center. I is offset left by Line in front of L.J. Hand off to L.J. running left. Cuts outside 45-40, 35-30, 25, 20-yard line. He's inside the 10. He's into the end zone. Touchdown, MSU. L.J. Scott just took it to the house.
L.J. Scott looking like he was shot out of a cannon.
Maryland 8, Michigan State 7. Moves Harrison to the right, takes the snap, hands to Harrison, running to his left to try to get outside and can't. Tyson Smith, the first to hit him. He offsets the eye to the right this time. They'll run Holmes to the left. Gerald breaks out of a tackle. He's at midfield. Hits the 45 and across the way at the 40-yard line. R.J. Shelton in motion, left to right, play fake to Holmes. Rolling right is Lewerke. Throws for R.J. Catch made. RJ's inside the 30 and out of bounds on this near right sideline. Hand off to Gerald Holmes, running to his right. Hit in the backfield, but stays on his feet. Fights his way to the 10-yard line. Prescott line in front of Gerald Holmes. Lewerke's under center. Hand off to Gerald, off right guard. Fights his way to the goal line. Falls into the end zone. Touchdown, MSU. And we are all even. Hills has Ty Johnson to his left. Play fake, steps back to throw. He's going to be manhandled. Wow. Taken down with one hand by big Malik McDowell. What a sack by Malik.
Yeah,
that'll go in his highlight film. The snap, the put down by Matt Maxud. The kick is on the way, and the kick is good. There was no lack of effort here tonight, Jason, and no lack of emotion, but they couldn't make the big plays, and they were victimized by the penalties. Very disappointing loss. Maryland wins the football game 28-17.